The biggest impediment to giving in Christianity is the misunderstanding of the definition of the word tithe and how it's applied. That's the biggest problem. Church police, church mafia outside looking for me right now. You want to jump on that? You want to leave me out here fishing by myself?
Well, here's the thing. Hebrews 9, right? Christ is the last Levitical priest. He goes into that tabernacle and he's in a different order. He's not in the order of the Levites. He's in the order of Melchizedek.
That's right.
So that order becomes obsolete just based off of Christ's finished work on the cross. The principle, however, can remain, right? But you're not obligated from a law perspective to do the 10%. But this, I will say this, is that you got to consider your heart posture. No, there's no 10% requirement for, giving to any institution. But in order to demand heaven to bless you, there is a requirement to service the poor. And based off of what you put on that altar is going to determine what you get back from that altar.
Come on.
You can't expect to get back, 60, 30, 100 fold, and you only putting, you can't, whatever you put on that altar, whatever heaven equates your sacrifice to equate to be transferred back to you in the physical, that's what you're going to get. Right? So, but go ahead and talk about, what you were talking about as far as the tithe.
So even in contemporary, even Christian literature and dictionary, the word tenth doesn't mean 10%. That's not what it, in its original meanings, what it meant. In addition to that, if we look at everywhere the tithe was established in the Old Testament, there's no place that it was ever established as a monetary percentage of one's earnings. Number three, the book of Malachi was not written to Christians. It was written to the Levitical priesthood that misappropriated the tithe. The tithe was to take care of the widows and the orphans and those who served the temple because they had no inheritance. Somewhere along the line, somebody made it 10% of your giving. And here's the thing. You have others will argue and say, well, I'm blessed because I'm tithed. So then what do you tell the folks who've been tithed and they not blessed? The principle has to work for everybody, or it's not a principle established by God. Okay? Let me tell you why preachers don't want to reveal the truth about tithing, because the truth is we tithe, we don't give. We don't. So they believe if they give you the truth, then your financial obligation or what they're expecting from you would diminish, and it does. And at the same time, it hurts ministries that are directly doing the work of the kingdom, and it hurts the men and women of God whose work, like, let me tell you, and I don't want to make this about me, but we streamed for 60 days in 2024, 60 consecutive days. It affected me. I can't do it no more. Real talk. I ain't young and fresh and green like Brad, right? I can't do it anymore. But to say that people value what we did, you know how I know they didn't? Because we didn't have the evidence, number one, in their giving, and we didn't have the evidence in any kind of support. I'm not counting out the people that rock with us. Y'all know who y'all are. But Christianity and life in general is filled with people who are opportunists.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man of God, can you help me? I need you to pray for such a ta-ta-ta. They get their life together. You never see them again. And that's, they would have done the same thing to Jesus. And I'm sure I've done the same thing to Jesus before. But this is why preachers don't directly address biblical giving. Because none of the disciples, not even Jesus, was qualified to collect a tithe under the Aaronic or the Levitical priesthood. They didn't qualify. And when Jesus died and the veil was torn in two, the only priesthood that exists is what exists now, the order of Melchizedek, where Peter says that we are peculiar people high priest under the order of Melchizedek. And if you study the order of Melchizedek, or who Melchizedek was, we know tithe was collected in the loins of Abraham for Levi,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, we don't get people that partner with us as much as we do the kingdom's work. We get just a few. And this is why preachers don't spill the beans about the truth of what the tithe is. So if the tithe is a real thing, how come on the 7th year your church ain't give you a respite? How come they ain't return nothing back to you? For all Yahoo say you blessed because of tithe. Why your church ain't give you nothing back after 7 years? I'm in trouble now. I need somebody to look outside, make sure church police ain't coming. Okay? So you can't cherry pick and pick and choose what is applicable in a legal system and think it's going to work. You have to follow the principles from the rootum to the tootum for it to work. And we don't like doing that.
Right.
We want to cherry pick. Even with the biblical fast, people talking about, oh, I'm doing the Daniel fast. Ain't no such thing. That's a biblical, that's a dietary standard. That's not what is going to move the kingdom of darkness. And we give people false hope, right? When we call these fasts and we don't make it difficult, it has to be difficult or it's not doing anything. We keep letting people off the hook and they get no breakthrough and then they mad at God. No, don't be mad at God. Look at what the scripture says and do that. Listen, I don't know nobody who like to fast. You know why? Because we are subject to the authority of our stomachs and our flesh. Real talk. I'm guilty too. But it's the truth. And all the kingdom of darkness does is wait us out. Whatever our comfort zone is, they do that. And once we get past, right? Listen, you want breakthrough in your life? Get past your comfort zone in every area of your life and you'll see what changed. How many athletes here? Right? In order to get better, you got to get past your limits. Period. Whatever that limit is. Like I tell a story about not being able to jump through the gym, not having a real handle, and having to learn how to catch and shoot everything. So I would have to go out when everybody was chilling and snowing outside and shovel out spots on the basketball court, and so I could catch and shoot. Because I knew I won't have the ability to work on my game in the summertime. And next summer, when we come back around, I'm trying to make that team. That principle can be translated over everything. Let me give you an example. How many people want to be millionaires? A lot of people gonna say yes. And I can tell you that you never will. Because you like sleep too much. You're not a visionary. You don't take chances. You don't believe in paying for information. You don't believe in sitting on the people that know more than you. You don't believe to learn from people that's killing in a certain industry, in a certain field. You don't believe that. So you will never be a millionaire because you don't have the basic attributes of understanding that you work hard now, you play later. We will go out and spend money in all kind of foolishness, experiences, trips, but we won't pay $5,000 to go to a seminar. I know we won't. I can't even get people to pay $200 for mentorship. Right? But then you want to call me for my knowledge. No, we ain't doing that. Unless I decide that's what I want to do. But I'm not letting you dictate that. Right? And it's the truth. Spiritual discipline establishes inroads with God through sacrifice. You will never grow as a prophet. You will never grow as an apostle. You will never grow as a preacher, a teacher, whatever these guys call you to do, unless you start letting stuff go, unless you start sacrificing stuff. You will never grow. This thing getting on my nerves now. I must be saying something good. I yield to you, Brad.
Yeah, man. It's, I just think these things are just things that we have to be cognizant of, and these things are revealed in the secret place. David said God taught him wisdom in the secret place. The secret place is where you go in communion with God. This is how you get this understanding. God will bring this knowledge, information to you whether it be in a dream, whether it be through reading scriptures, whether it be through another person, whether it be through something that comes on your feed. He'll give you the downloads. But you got to be willing to put these things into practice. And you have to be consistent with these things. And don't bite off more than you can chew. You know what I mean? Go through your process of sanctification, go through your process of transformation. But whatever point that God has you, make sure you capitalize. Make sure you take advantage of that particular moment that God is pouring into you. And you do that each and every step of the way. And, you know, God will continuously reveal things to you that is going to elevate you spiritually and allow you to overcome all your oppositions. For real, like he'll get you to the point where you're overcoming all of your oppositions. But it comes with consistency and total dependence and reliance on God and prayer.